There we go.
Right. And Sam, put yours in speaker mode.
Oh, right.
You're recording.
That's the first thing that's on the recording now.
You can
hi, everyone.
again.
Before we get really started, I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to the Friedman family for hosting us, for gathering us all together. We're really excited to share about 4Front. So before we get into what is 4Front, what are our programs, I think it might be nice if we go around and we introduce ourselves, the 4Front staff. Hi, I'm Sam Constrakes. I'm one of the co-managing directors of 4Front. I'll pass it off to Diana.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Diana Solomon, the other co-director of 4Front. And I run, in addition to a lot of other things, I run the Social Innovation Fellowship, which is one of the things that you're going to be hearing about tonight.
What's up, everybody? My name is Eli. I'm a 4Front program associate. I run a year-long fellowship called the Peer Leaders Fellowship. I run Teen Service Council. I run our fund program, which you'll hear about both of those tonight. And during the summer, I also run our CIT programs.
And last but not least, my name is Cody Gelvar, and I serve as a program associate as well. I run a year-long program called the Diller Teen Fellows Program, and I also run a shorter series program called STACK, which stands for Students Taking Action for Change.
Awesome, thank you. So you're going to hear about a lot of these programs tonight, and please feel free to pop any questions that you have in the chat at any time.
Not the share I wanted.
Oh. Sorry. Pop any questions in the chat. We'll also take questions at the end. So please interrupt us. Okay, so what is 4Front? Can you go to the next slide? Thank you. 4Front is our community's comprehensive teen initiative. We focus on supporting and elevating teens in our community and the adults who care about teens, so parents and youth professionals in the community. If you're not familiar with us, 4Front was created in 2016 as part of a national experiment in teen engagement. We're located at the Owings Mills JCC and funded by a matching grant through the Jim Joseph Foundation and locally the Associated and the Meyerhoff Family Foundation. We focus on creating spaces for teens to explore their Jewish identity in ways that are meaningful to teens. All of our programs help grow leadership skills. They grow confidence, gain resume building skills, offer unique niche experiences, all through a Jewish lens. So tonight you're going to hear about 6 of our signature programs for teens. Before we get into all of our offerings, we want to show a brand new video, hot off the press, that just has some teen and alumni testimonials that really speak to the core of 4Front and all that we do.
I think that 4Front offers teens the ability to meet other teens in a social but also educational atmosphere.
It also offers many leadership opportunities, so you can build on your leadership skills, learn how to be a leader in your community, and learn from example from other leaders in our community.
I've grown up in a day school environment my whole life, and there were kids there from public school, from other private schools, so it's interesting to hear how other people voice their opinions.
4Front offers teens in the community service and life experience, but for a specific niche that they enjoy. There's just something for everyone.
4Front has so many opportunities and programs that will appeal to all different kinds of teenagers, and you should really take advantage of the time you have now to do that before you're struggling to figure it out in college or later in life.
The entire 4Front staff have been amazing. My entire experience, always super approachable, always with a smile on their face.
It was kind of the relationship where I could text him if I needed advice for something outside of school. It was adults that I could connect well with and wanted to see us grow.
My participation in 4Front helped me change and grow as a person by making me more confident and helping me learn to stand up for myself. I speak my mind because I can.
4Front really taught me how I can find my voice in certain ways, because your voice matters.
Having your voice heard, I think, is probably the biggest part of my 4Front experience. It was really special just because of that sense of community, listening to each other and learning and building off of each other.
I think through 4Front I matured a lot. I learned a lot of valuable leadership skills. I think 4Front really stresses that everyone is equal and that anyone can be a leader. If we really put what we learned into practice, if we really took advantage of everything it had to offer, I mean, it proved, at least for me, invaluable to my future.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. I think it's always great to hear from teens, and maybe some of you knew some of the wonderful teens that we featured in our video. If you do, let them know that they're famous. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we offer 6 signature programs for teens at 4Front. If you're familiar with us from the past, you may have known that all of these programs were year-long experiences. We're all about experimenting, trying new things, pivoting, and COVID kind of gave us an excuse to make some changes that we've been dreaming about for years. So we now offer programs in 3 different models to fit everyone's busy schedule and really make sure that there's something for everyone in our community. So I wanted to share about our year-long cohorts, Diller Teen Fellows and Peer Leadership Fellows. Both of these are year-long, like I mentioned, and applications for these actually open in the spring of this year for starting next fall. So I want to tell you about them, and it's something that you can keep in mind for later on in the school year. Diller is our global leadership program. It offers rising juniors in high school the opportunity to develop leadership skills, engage in conversation about Jewish identity. We host a group of teens from Ashkelon, Baltimore's sister city. And we travel to Israel for 3 weeks in a summer experience, which includes a global leadership summit with Diller Teen Fellows from 32 communities across the world. So it's an incredible program, and we'd love to tell you more. If there are questions about that program, we can go into more detail later. Peer Leadership Fellows is our internship program. It trains and empowers teens to be communal connectors. Fellows learn how to build relationships, engage their peers in meaningful identity-based conversation, and connect with their social networks to the menu of offerings available to teens in the Baltimore Jewish community. So both of those are year-long experiences, and applications for those will open in the spring. Our short-term series are what's opening up right now for the winter, starting in January. These are shorter-term programs spanning weeks or months, but they still offer incredibly high-quality programming, just in a little bit of a shorter time frame to give people a little bit of choice and flexibility in their schedule. So I'm actually going to one more format of programs. I'll pass it on to Diana, Eli, and Cody to talk about each of the programs. But our pop-up events, we offer Teen Service Council. Those are a really great opportunity for teens that are just don't want to make a commitment, need some extra community service hours. We offer lots of different opportunities for teens to join us and volunteer with their peers. So with that, I will pass it on to Diana to talk about Social Innovation Fellowship.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. So hi again, everyone. I am Diana, and I run the Social Innovation Fellowship. This is the 5th year that 4Front has run the Social Innovation Fellowship, and the 5th year that I've run it. And what it is 4Front's signature program focused around social innovation and entrepreneurship. So what the Social Innovation teaches teens is how to actually come up with an idea for and build a socially impactful business that works to solve or positively impact a social problem. So over the course of this program is 12 weeks, so it will be 3 months long. Over the course of the program, teens will be placed into teams, will start the year by identifying a problem that their team cares about that they would like to address, and then actually learn the entrepreneurial process of building this business idea, of creating a business model, figuring out what their revenue stream is, doing customer interviews and business validation to prove their business assumptions, actually going through a process of maybe even prototyping and testing their business idea. And what all of that is working up towards is a big demo day pitch event, which is when the teens actually get to Shark Tank style pitch their businesses. So the format of the program, just to share a little bit of details, we are going to start the weekend of January 15th and 16th with an opening overnight. We're gonna get together Saturday night after Shabbat, have actually kind of like a lock-in at the J. That's gonna be, we'll do dinner, we'll get to know each other, bond as a group, stay overnight. And then on Sunday, the 16th, is gonna be our innovation boot camp. So that is where we will spend the full day getting kind of a fast-paced snapshot of the whole entrepreneurial process. I should mention, back up, in this program, we work with a really amazing curricular partner. This guy, Henrik Shield, he's a serial entrepreneur. He lives in Silicon Valley in California. He's from Denmark, and he's actually going to fly in to run this innovation boot camp. He has so much expertise and knowledge in entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship education. So he brings a lot of really amazing knowledge and credibility to the program. Then after the opening workshop, we will meet basically for 10 Sundays in a row. And these are our business building workshops where you will work on building your business idea. We're going to have some cool speakers. You might get to work with local business leaders. And we're also, of course, going to talk about how all of this is a Jewish endeavor, how social innovation and entrepreneurship can be motivated by and connected to our Jewish values. And really can work towards Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. So of those workshops, just so you know what the format will be, half of them will be in person and the other half will be virtual because, as I said, Henrik is actually in California. So when we work with Henrik, we will Zoom with him. But he's super interactive on Zoom. We actually Zoomed with him before COVID even started. So that will be the format. And then, like I said, finishing with this big demo day pitch event on April 3rd. So that's what the program looks like. I do want to give an opportunity, if you're interested, our lovely host family, Liz and Eli. Eli participated last year in the Social Innovation Fellowship in this 12-week format. Granted, last year was fully virtual, but I'd love if you just want to share for a minute or two about your experience in the program. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah. I had a great experience in the Social Innovation Fellowship, and I would definitely recommend it. I was really able to work with my team and focus on issues in the community and help create solutions to solve those issues. Do you have any questions about the fellowship?
Do you remember, Eli, what your team's problem and business idea was?
The business idea was a drug curricula.
Drug prevention curricula. Yeah.
Drug prevention.
Not drug curricula.
How to get drugs, how to use drugs.
Yeah. So it countered the issue, combated the issue of drug use in Baltimore City and around the country.
Awesome.
You know what, despite it being virtual, it really was a meaningful experience. And we just got so excited to hear that Henry, how do you pronounce it?
Henrik's coming.
Henrik's coming. He's like saying everyone loved him. He was so dynamic and it really translated fine over, in the virtual realm and exciting that he'll be here in person too. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the other ideas?
Go ahead, Eli. Do you remember?
Yeah, one was the bags substitution. What was that again? For stores, for grocery stores.
A reusable bag rental service.
Yes.
Yeah, the other one was like tutoring.
A virtual space for it was like a virtual space for teens, for students to like help each other and do like student
like a peer tutoring
in school when a lot of people were struggling with school last year when it was fully virtual. And the last one was utilizing like restaurants and takeout ordering to like I'm not gonna
It was like
increase donations
instead of like a tip at the end. The restaurant gave you the option of like donating to a local organization, and they actually had it in some local restaurants that people could donate, round up whatever to donate. I think they donated to Baltimore Hunger Project.
Yeah, they ran a pilot of it at Citron and donated to Baltimore Hunger Project. Yeah, those were last year's 4 groups. So it's a really cool program. It teaches you really cool skills and a concept that I think you don't really get to learn or actually try out and do in school. And it's dynamic and high level, and it's really great. So really registration. It is not a competitive program. It's just an online registration form is open now, and we'll send you all of those links at the end. Thank you, Eli, so much for sharing. All right, I'm going to keep us moving along and pass it on to Cody to talk about Stack.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm yelling at my dog while she does things she shouldn't be doing. So I'm the program coordinator for Stack. And as you can see on top of the screen, Stack stands for Students Taking Action for Change. And it really serves as 4Front's political advocacy program. So in the past, we've done it typically as a year-long program, but because of COVID, we obviously transitioned into a shorter term program. And I found that it worked like so much better, and it was a really amazing experience for the teens. So in Stack, teens really get the opportunity to have or learn a better understanding of what happens in the political process. How a bill becomes a law, and I get to play them the Schoolhouse Rock video, and everybody's like, "What is this?" Since it's a little past their time. In addition, they get really awesome real life experience lobbying and public speaking as well. And last but not least, they actually get to choose a bill and actually advocate for that bill in front of state representatives. It typically would be in Annapolis, but this year it'll be virtual over Zoom. I really like to say that Stack is a really amazing program if you know a lot about politics, because it gives you a really amazing like theater and place to actually express your views and challenge your peers and really like talk about what's going on in today's political climate. And in addition, it's really, really good if you don't know a lot about politics as well. Stack's a great opportunity for you to kind of dip your toe in and get your get your feet wet in politics if you think it's something you might be interested in the future. And I really believe that Stack's a great place to kind of, get your start or really learn what's going on. Just to go over some finer details, the program will actually begin on January 20th. That's a Thursday evening. So the programs will run 6:30 to 8:30 at the JCC on Thursday nights. It'll be 5 sessions in a row. And the last session will actually be those meetings with the state representatives that we're setting up. We get to partner with the Baltimore Jewish Council, and they actually help us pick out actual bills. And the teens actually get to write testimony that goes into the state archives based on whatever they decide to write. Last but not least, this program is really open for anybody, any grades 9 through 12. And I really encourage, people to take advantage of that regardless of what age you are. And I had one more thing to say and I forgot, of course.
Do they go to Annapolis?
Not this year, unfortunately, because we usually partner with the BJC and, the state capitol in general. There's no longer like an official advocacy day for this year. But hopefully moving forward next year, this is me knocking on wood, that'll be a possibility as well. So.
But I'll just add to that in the past we've gone to Annapolis and we've got to meet with representatives or their staffers, but in this Zoom version we get like undivided attention with the representatives. We get them captured on Zoom for a good 30 minutes, so it's actually a little bit more powerful and impactful. You get that one-on-one time. So
absolutely, like for example, last year we had a meeting with a state senator, and she was actually like walking from one Annapolis building to another Annapolis building, because obviously our politicians are extremely busy. But it was amazing that for those 15 minutes on Zoom, 20 minutes on Zoom, that like as it was snowing outside, that we had her undivided attention about whatever these teens were asking her and really pitching to her as well. Last but not least, just like an example of some of the bills that the teens have lobbied for and worked on. One that's actually passed was the Baltimore City tax on bags. So there's no more technically plastic bags in Baltimore City, unless you pay 5 cents for them. So that was something that our teens actually wrote testimony for and actually lobbied in front of state representatives about. And in addition, they've also lobbied for things like mandating, hate crime and hate speech and genocide education in public schools, teaching folks about consent as in an age appropriate level through grade school as well, and then much, much more. So, and last but not least, when our teens are actually advocating in front of these politicians, they're not just talking to the people that agree with them. They're not talking to the co-sponsors of the bills. They're not talking to people that are just going to say yes and then move on. We really try to have meetings with representatives that don't necessarily agree or on the fence about whether or not they actually want to vote one way or the other. So it's really interesting to see the representatives actually challenge the teens back, and the teens having to really think quick on their feet to actually like rebuttal and have a really good and meaningful conversation with these people. So if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. And the same thing with Diller as well. More than happy to answer after our session. And I will pass it to Eli.
Thanks, Cody. So as you can see on the screen, I run a program called Fund, which is a teen giving circle. So it's 4Front's Jewish Teen Philanthropy Initiative. It really teaches teens the entire process of what a giving circle is and what philanthropy is all about. So they learn how to write a mission statement. Everything we do is driven through Jewish values. So we do a Jewish values exploration to start. And from there, we write a mission and vision statement. And from then on in Fund, our entire process is driven by our mission statement. So we learn how to write and review a request for proposal, which goes out to the entire community. And as our RFP is out in the community, we actively fundraise for whatever our mission statement is. So we do this by building consensus. So it's not just a majority rules program. We really take everybody's voice into account. And when our RFPs come back, we review every single RFP, and we really decide what organizations in the community based on our mission that we'd like to go on a visit for. So this year, just like last year, we're going to do virtual site visits, which is actually much more beneficial to us because that gives us a chance to meet with CEOs and chief development officers and chief financial officers of these big organizations like Baltimore Hunger Project, where we get to really ask specific questions as to if our request for proposal, if they write a request for proposal that says they want $1,800 for XYZ, we really get to grill the CEO on exactly how they're going to use our funds and how we're going to be able to check to see that our funds are used. And at the end of the day, we get to distribute with the big fancy checks like you always see. We get to distribute this money at a check ceremony, normally again to a CEO or a chief development officer that comes into the JCC for our ceremony. And at the end of the day, Fund's goal is to create real change using real dollars. And all of this money is fundraised through and by the teens. So I always call myself like the Fund bus driver. Where like I'll take us to each different stop of Fund. But once we get off that stop for that week, it's really based on the teens where we go. I don't influence at all where we send our request for proposal. I don't influence our mission whatsoever. It's completely teen driven and again, based in our Jewish values as a group. This program meets 6 Sundays from January through May. So it's really only 1 Sunday a month. We'll give 10 community service hours and $100 of your tuition automatically goes into our fundraising pot. So if we get 10 people in Fund before the year starts, we're already starting with $1,000. In my last 2 years running a program like this in Houston, we donated just a little over $22,000 to the local Houston community to 6 different organizations. So I'm super excited to run this program in Baltimore and see how much change we can make. So if you guys have any questions, you can pop them in the chat and I'd be happy to answer them at the end. But I'm going to send it off to Sam, and Sam's going to tell you a little bit about Teen Service Council.
I was muted. Thank you. Okay, so Teen Service Council, these are our pop-up events. Really just a great opportunity for teens that are looking for community service hours, that want to get out and volunteer, make an impact in our community. Doing so with friends, meeting new friends. It's just a fun way to spend a Sunday afternoon. So we have 2 coming up that I want to share with you. January 17th is actually MLK Day of Service. on the Monday of MLK Day weekend. We're partnering with JVC and a few other institutions, and we're not exactly sure what the project's going to be, but we're excited about this, and it will be a really cool opportunity to get to know other teens across the community. February 27th is our National Muffin Day Baking Party, so this is a really fun one. We participate in something called National Muffin Day, and the highlight is we get to bake muffins and then we donate them to homeless shelters throughout the community. This is a national event where for each baker, the sponsor donates per baker. So in the past it was $40 per baker. I think it's like a matching grant. So it's a cool opportunity to not only bake muffins, deliver them, but it also there's a philanthropy piece, which is exciting. So those are our upcoming pop-up events. Does anyone have any questions about any of the programs that we mentioned tonight? I know it was a lot of information, a lot of things. Any questions at all? Pop it in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself.
And I will also just share that registration for Social Innovation, Stack Fund, and these Teen Service Council pop-ups are all open. So you can register for them now. They're going to close in early January. The dates vary a little bit. None of these are competitive programs or have an interview process. If you are familiar with some of 4Front's other programs or previous years of these programs, some have been competitive, but those programs are not. And we really can take a lot more teens in them and hope to have a lot of diverse teens from different schools and different grades, and it's a really exciting opportunity. Yeah.
So I'm going to pop this form in the chat one more time for those that didn't get a chance to fill it out. Just asking for like email, teen name, that kind of thing. And we want to stay in touch with you. We'll send you a summary of sort of what we talked about, like links to our website, that kind of thing. And if you're interested in Diller and PLS, we'll make sure to give you a little nudge reminder when those applications open. So we want to stay in touch, and please share your info with us. Also, if there are questions, if there's any personal like questions that you have, we're always available to chat with parents, with teens. We're happy to do it. And please share this with friends, with other parents of teens, other teens in your network. These programs are fun with friends. Also, you make new friends, but there's always that bonus if you bring a friend along. Well, thank you. It was lovely seeing everyone. We appreciate it.
I was just going to say that there's so many people who were so interested, but I could not get over. It's very exciting actually that people have now really. I think everyone has lives now.
I think people are back for like normal.
An exciting thing.
It was like, I was shocked. Everyone had sports. There was 1 million people who I think I might've invited 45 families to this, and Vanessa, thanks for coming. So it was one of those things where I didn't anticipate everyone being so busy, which is great. Yeah. But I do think that I'm happy to take the link that if you share the link with me, I'll forward that to everybody I had invited. And I do agree with you that it is fun with friends and to share it with your networks. And
yeah.
And if you feel like you have a network of people that you would want to gather for a parlor meeting or an info session like this, we're always happy to jump on Zoom and do these types of things. So.
And Liz, we just want to thank you again for hosting tonight, being our virtual host, gathering this group, sending it out to so many people. We really are very appreciative, and you're always a very good advocate for 4Front. So we appreciate you.
It is a wonderful program. I really believe in it a lot. It's fantastic. And I do think the mix of people coming from different schools, because you can get in your bubble. So, having public and private and like a range of religious identities. And I love that it really is a meeting point for so many people. So I think it's so great. So.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.